Toobrack has been in the Rogers family name for 115 years. Neil Rogers is proud of the family tradition and the historical records and rainfall figures that go back to 1894. Toobrack hosted a field day organised by the Coopers Creek Catchment Committee with a principal focus on the issues surrounding Gidgee. Neil is not backward in saying what he thinks about that particular tree.
I hate it, Bruce, I hate it. It's taking over our grassland and we've got to keep at it. As I said earlier on to the group, it's been a thing going on in the diaries ever since 1894. As I just said, the worst thing is it comes up in most wet years, which is about 15 to 17 years apart, and there seems to be a regrowth of that every year. And it's an ongoing problem, and I don't like it because if we want to make a living, we haven't got grass and the Gidgee's taking over.
Today is all about passing on information to people of how one family on a property have dealt with their Gidgee issue. It's about disseminating information. Gidgee is an issue that comes up every time at our meeting, the encroachment of Gidgee, and this is an opportunity for people and committee members to see what one place has done with their Gidgee problem.
Various speakers attended the field day. Jenny Milson presented her take on the naming of botanic species with a transportable whiteboard. The records on Toobrack describe clearly the encroachment and the thickening of Gidgee. Angus Emmett faces similar thickening problems on his family property, Noonbar.
I think it's a whole combination of different effects, but it's a combination of lack of fire, grazing, changed land use with stock on it, churning the surface up, so these combine in different places in different amounts, but leads to the mosaic across the landscape, but it does get very, very thick in places. The biggest issue is the fact that you've got to redo it every so often and the cost of doing it. So you've got to do your sums and work out whether, do a cost-benefit analysis and see if it's actually worth going down that path.
It takes a lot of man hours. It can be profitable. We do it with a D4D, just pushing, selectively clearing, and it works out to about $12 to $15 an acre. But on saying that, the cheapest way of spraying it I've found is with Star Rain and water with an additive of dishwashing fluid. It is killing it, whereas we used to use diesel and access, and diesel is more dear than access at the moment.
Where it's really thick, there's no grazing value because there's absolutely nothing growing under it whatsoever. It's just bare ground. So it takes, from a grazing enterprise point of view, it takes the country out entirely if it gets thick enough.
Permits are available through the Department of Environment and Resource Management under two different sections of the Vegetation Management Act. One, a permit for thinning thickened woodlands, and the second for where tree species are encroaching on natural grasslands. But many landholders say the application process can be tortuous.
I think the government are making it harder for us. They're not giving us the permits as easy. There's more stipulation on leaving trees and everything, and I know we're looking at carbon credits and everything for our trees, but let's face it, the more trees we have is the less grass we grow, and that's what we're looking for, grassland for growing our stock and keeping our livelihood viable.
Yeah, the vegetation legislation and the capacity to be able to treat encroachment and to thin thickened areas, essentially the notion there is that producers are able to take that country back to what it was before it was either encroached or before it actually thickened. So it's about taking it back to a more productive state in terms of animal production, but also in environmental terms, it's taking it back to what it was, maybe back in the 50s or something like that.
Damien Arthur says the application can be reasonably straightforward as long as some evidence can be shown that a landscape was earlier less dense or natural grasslands.
You have to be able to demonstrate encroachment and you have to be able to demonstrate thickening, but often you're able to secure some old aerial photographs, for instance, back in the 1950s to show what the country was then and what it is now. That's particularly good for encroachment. It's also quite handy for thinning applications.
I think the response today has been very good. I didn't expect so many. As I said when we were back there having the talk, I'm not here to preach to people on how to do it and what to do. We're here just to explain what we're doing and see what they've got any ideas of what's happening. But no, I'm overawed with what's happening.
This has been one of an occasional series of news stories brought to you by Desert Channels Queensland, informing to help informed decisions.